They have been a tradition in ROCOR for decades. As Vladika also mentioned, we had these all diaspora conferences. These were established as a broad outreach to unite youth from different parishes, dioceses, and backgrounds. These all diaspora youth conferences united youth from all different countries to strengthen their faith and support in one another. The very first all diaspora youth conference actually took place in 1972 in Canada with the direction of then Archbishop Vitaly, and then later he was as Metropolitan Vitaly Ustinov. And since the first all diaspora youth conference in Canada, the tradition continued, taking place in Europe, Australia, North and South America. Almost everywhere there are parishes, the Russian Church abroad, there have been these traditional all diaspora youth conferences. The last couple of all diaspora youth conferences were in Paris in 2011, and also the one after that, the last one, was in San Francisco in 2014, where both conferences, over 200 youth from 15 countries united together from 5 different canonical churches at that time. So it was quite an incredible opportunity, but that was 2014 as the last one. And I'm certain that many of you have participated in local youth conferences, such probably only maybe, I would say, 5 or 6 of you have actually participated in an all diaspora, this type of conference. The conference you see is a little different than the St. Herman's, and the last couple of years we all have had to endure many challenges. Just simply us being together physically here today is already a big treat in our lives, and we've had to deal with the pandemic, and now even with uncertain world events, we are still having too many difficulties in international travel and even border crossings. So not wanting to simply wait until the world comes back to the way it used to be, and understanding that the possibility of the reality is that it may never go back exactly the way it was. The Synod of Bishops blessed me to organize this first ever all North American youth conference. And so we have assembled today representing 4 dioceses, the Eastern American, the Western American, the Mid-America, and Canada. And you have all come here actually, statistically, as Vladika pointed out about the boys and the girls, we actually have you as participants from 23 different states and Canada represented here. Your ages are 18 to 25, and about half of you are Z, and half of you are millennials, roughly. And so that's also an interesting combination, I'll tell you that. Roughly half of you, like Vladika mentioned, are split boys and girls. So I'm happy to see that parish representatives from states that we don't always see very often, such as Tennessee, Alabama, Hawaii, and Texas also. So such places that have rare exposure, but fully represent our Russian Church abroad. And so we're very happy to see all of you here today. We are stretching our connection, as Vladika mentioned also, north to south, Alberta to Canada to, I went a little further, Vladika, Miami, Florida, and east to west we have New York to Hawaii. So we have quite a geographical exposure here, and so it's a great blessing. To help and guide this conference, we have the blessing of the Ivran Mur streaming Hawaiian icon. We thank Father Athanasius for bringing that. And we have three bishops. We have Archbishop Gabriel of Canada. We have the Vicar Bishop of the Western American Diocese, Bishop James, and Archbishop Peter, who will be flying in tonight, representing the Midwest. So this youth conference has a specific work-oriented focus. We're not just here to listen to incredible speeches and lectures. We are here also to fulfill a job, to a task specifically. Our theme, as you see already, building a church from the inside out, leads us to the tension of striving to better our spiritual life while engaging in the community aspect of a parish. And so registering for this conference, which receiving your registrations, to be honest, wasn't an easy task either. But thank God everything went well with that. But we ask that you give a small explanation of this theme and what it means to you. Of course, there's no right or wrong answer to such a question of building a church from the inside out, what it means to you. But we did receive responses. Every one of you gave a response. Some of them were a little longer, some were very, very short, but every one of you gave a response, and I just wanted to point out a couple of them, share them with you. I won't embarrass anybody with names, but just share them with you. One person wrote their feelings and understanding of what building a church from the inside out means. I quote, "I strongly believe that youth involvement in the church and its parish is incredibly valuable for both the individual and the community. Through acts of service, individuals are able to strengthen their relationship with God whilst building character and supporting their community." Another one wrote, "It is important to build a church in our hearts. Welcoming God into our hearts will help us and our Christian community unite both physically and spiritually. Building a parish is a reflection of our unity and love." And the last one I would like to point out also is, for me, this means not taking the life of the parish for granted. Understanding that none of us are bystanders, and that all of us have a role in keeping it alive. We will be publishing all of your little statements and on our PVYA website. That's youthpv.org. You'll be able to find that also. So you'll be able to see all of these statements. I'm just going to generalize it as youth conference participants. I won't put out individually who said what. But we are familiar also, I think we should be all familiar with the parable in the Gospel of the talents. How a man traveling into a far country first called on his servants and distributed some funds, talents, they were called, of his property to them. How then this Lord, upon his return, came to check on his property to see how it was managed. He noticed that in one case, his investment of the talents he gave were not multiplied. One did not make good with the talents that he received. He simply held on to them, not creating, not multiplying. He simply just held on to them. The Lord was upset with the lack of use for the goods he left this person. God expects us not only to keep what he has given to us, but to have our talents grow and be shared with others, multiplied that way, so that our talents, gifts from God, are not only put away in a vault, but used to help others. All of you are blessed with an incredible amount of talents. God gave all of us all these talents. And we are here together to unite our talents, to multiply our talents for the benefit of others. This task of understanding how to multiply our talents is the essence of our conference here today. All of you will be coordinated into groups to come up with a plan for strengthening our parish communities and engaging youth such as yourselves into the life of a parish. I will later go into more details of how our workshop programs will work. And in addition to our workshop programs, as part of our work here at the conference, we are actually opening a new youth ministry for our church, an Orthodox youth podcast. As you all know, podcasting is a very popular forum and can be used as a tool in expanding our youth ministry. This podcast that will be made by the youth and for the youth, focusing on your understanding of your Orthodox faith. And your task at hand during the conference is to come up with ways of engaging youth in the participation of the community, of the life of the parish, in order to strengthen your faith, to get closer to God through His sacraments. Our schedule during the conference is full of exciting events. Besides our work focus, we will be spending an entire day exploring God's beautiful creation here in Utah, in the mountains. And just quickly, I'd like to mention that all of you received a schedule for this conference. Please make sure that you get familiar with it. We have a lot of interesting work to be done today, as we will start our workshops and podcasting. And tonight we have an akafist in front of the Mirror streaming icon at the St. George Church here in Utah, in Salt Lake City. And tomorrow we have the fun day of hiking and swimming and getting to know each other a little better. And Thursday we have many interesting guest speakers coming to encourage you, to direct you. Coming is, we have participants, guest speakers, Matушka Patricia Klar, who is with us today, Eugene Kulesha. We also have a presentation by the St. John of San Francisco and Shanghai Benevolent Fund. Dmitry Shekalov, as one of the members, will be coming and speaking to us about this fund, and working on our podcasts and presentations to Thursday evening. And Friday, we have an incredible opportunity. Right now in Cologne, Germany, there is a youth conference by our German diocese. Same amount of people, close to 100 people, gathering also, discussing about their faith. And Friday, we will be connecting with them via Zoom on the screen. We will see them, they will see us, and we will ask them questions about what it is for them to build a church from the inside out. We will have translators because there will be German, Russian, English. So this is a unique opportunity, even though we're restricted because of certain border issues. But we will be participating with the German diocese. Representing will be Bishop Eve, who was just recently consecrated as a bishop. And after that, we have our presentations. So all of these workshops that you've been engaging in for the past week, you will then present to a panel and to see what kind of programs you've come up with. And in celebration of that, we will be having a small banquet at the Salt Lake City Aquarium, where the entire aquarium will be at our disposal for the whole evening. We will have dinner there and get to know the sharks and the penguins and everything else that lives in the sea there. So that'll be quite an interesting time for us. Saturday, I leave all to you. You have free time to roam and explore the grounds here. There's many activities to be offered here by Sword. So you have the whole day until Vigil, which of course we expect and encourage everyone to go to confession, and Sunday morning, of course, a hierarchy liturgy where everybody will be united together with the Holy Chalice, receiving Holy Communion. So that kind of all said, I'd like to just make one small footnote that we are all adults here. Yes, 18 is considered an adult, even in America, and so we're all adults here, and it's expected to have certain behavior as adults. I don't want to get into any details. I don't want to expect certain things, except that you know what is expected of you during this time together, during this week. That we're not only adults, but we are Orthodox Christians, and we understand what our moral obligations are and behavior is. So I expect everyone to understand what I'm referring to. And in that said, I now proclaim the All North American Youth Conference 2020 Salt Lake City open. We're going to have a small little break for about 10 minutes, and our next guest speaker is Bishop James, our keynote speaker for this conference, who will be sharing his thoughts and feelings about our topic and our gathering here today. So you may take a 10-minute break, please, but please come back promptly after 10 minutes. Thank you.